Because of you, the day was brighter, the clouds right away, and you lifted me higher. Okay, popping like you'll never know.
Yo, what's up guys, and welcome to my spy tutorial. As a spy main, I would really like to make this video, and it has actually been requested for me to make by this person right here. So I thank you for the suggestion, and I'm gonna go straight into this. I feel like there's a lot of spy tutorials out there, but I still feel like I can bring something new to the table, so I don't know, just keep watching and hopefully I will not disappoint you. First of all, and this is a skippable part, so I'm gonna show you the time where you should go. It's a long video after all, so I'm gonna show you the time where to go if you wanna skip this part. It's the loadout, all the different knives and revolvers and stuff like that. So if you don't wanna hear it, you can skip. I'm gonna quickly go over them. So we're gonna start with the knives. We're starting off with the butterfly knife, which is there's no attributes to it. It's just a knife, backstabbing from the back. You know how it goes. Then there's the Spychecking. Now, the Spychecking lets you be invulnerable to fire. It will disappear, I believe, for 15 seconds, and you can replay. You can pick up metal to make that time a little bit shorter. You're also immune to fire for at least like 8 seconds, I believe. I'm not really sure. I'm sorry, I didn't look up the facts. Then there's the Your Eternal Reward. Your Eternal Reward, or Yer, is a knife that does not let you disguise. You have to backstab someone in order to be disguised as that person, and that knife is it's a panic knife. I mean, it's really great if you wanna play mind games. For example, let's just say you're a soldier. You look there on the usual sniper spot. There sits a sniper. Fine, you turn around, you fire a couple of rockets, you turn back around, there's still the same sniper there. Fine, you turn around, you fire another rocket, and then you get backstabbed. Why? Because that sniper got backstabbed and you don't know about it. It's a silent killer. Kills don't go to the kill feed, so you don't know anyone got backstabbed, and the person that dies immediately disappears and you become them. It's a great knife if you wanna play with the other team, but it's kind of the pain in the ass to get the first backstab if you don't know what you're doing. I wouldn't recommend this knife on your first go. The beginner is a knife that makes 25 of your health go away, so you're stuck with 100. And every time you kill someone, just kill someone with the knife, you have to have the knife on, you will get a speed boost for like 4 seconds or something, I'm not sure. It's the speed boost that really matters. It's been changed since the gunmetal, and this speed boost allows you to change the stabs, you know, get away. You can just stab someone and just cloak and run away. Also, the previous attribute this knife had, it's that it will give you 30% of your cloak back if you kill someone. For example, if you're using the Dead Ringer, which I'll get into later, you can just decloak behind someone, stab them, and just get the cloak back and just leave. It's pretty good knife. It can be situational, I would say. And then the kunai. The kunai, as I amazingly named it, with my one and only name tag that I ever gotten. The weapon gives you health of your opponent upon backstabbing, which means you can be overhealed up to 200 health, which is insane. And combine it with the damage resistance from the Invisible Watch, and you might actually have a loadout that is unbeatable. But you need to get the first backstab, and the problem with this knife is that you will have only 70 health in the beginning. It used to be so you only had 65, I think it was 65, and one single melee hit would have killed you. Now you will have 5 health, but yeah, you're just basically dead if a single crit touches you. So now let's move on to the revolvers. Now there's a normal revolver, which is just a reliable revolver. It has six bullets, you know, nothing going around. You can fire them. It does quite a bit of damage. Before using any other revolver, I would just encourage you to use the regular one first, because it's a great revolver and you can really get the hang of the aiming and stuff. Now let's go to my favorite revolver, which is the Ambassador. Now the Ambassador does not have random crits, such as the revolver does, but the Ambassador doesn't. And the thing with the Ambassador is that it does less damage and you can fire it slower. It has slower firing speed. But the thing is, it will do 102 what did it do damage on headshots? It basically does a critical hit on a headshot, which is what you see me use in all of my spy clips. It's the revolver. It's a rewarding revolver. If you mean if you're not good with aiming, then don't use it. I'm not good with aiming, but you know it's just rewarding when you get that beautiful 102. So let's go to the Letranger. I don't know how to pronounce that. No one does know that, so don't look at me bad. That revolver gives you a cloak when you shoot someone, and it does less damage. That's about all you need to know about it, really. Let's move on to the diamond bag. Now, the diamond bag has been changed from total shit to absolutely awesome. I would encourage you to use this if you have it, though. It will give you a 1 guaranteed critical hit, 102 of damage, pure damage, upon any backstab or any sap you get. So if you sap 2 buildings and you kill the engineer and you wait till the buildings are destroyed, that means you'll have 3 guaranteed crits. And it doesn't matter if you hit it in the head, the neck, the chest, the pinky toe, it will still be 102 damage. It's awesome, and it just depends on if you're a decent spy. If you get behind, if you get stabbed, you should be completely fine. Also worth mentioning to the diamond bag, it has damage reduction, just like the ambassador, so it will do only 102 damage on critical hit. Let's move on to the enforcer. The enforcer has a slower firing speed, and it has bonus damage of 25%, I believe, upon enemies when you're disguised. The first shot when you're still disguised, it's a great revolver. Alright, so let's move on to the cloaks finally, 9 minutes in. Also, if you don't know already, all of the free cloaks have sounds. Yes, the Inviswatch is the faintest sound, and then there's the Cloak and Dagger, and the Dead Ringer is loud as shit. So make sure you have your distance between you and your opponents, because if you don't have the distance, they might hear you, and trust me, the better players can hear a decloak from an entire map away, so just be careful with those. We got the Inviswatch, which has damage reduction of 20%, and also on fire and chivalry and stuff like that will wear down. So if you're alone, or if you're just, you know you're not gonna get ambushed by anyone and you're still on fire, just cloak. Or if you're Geradied, yes, that's a word now. It's a great watch. I use it all the time, and I would encourage you to start it off with. I guess you don't have much cloaks, maybe you do, I don't know. But this is the best one to start it anyways. Now there's Cod. Not Cod, no, Cod. It's Cloak and Dagger. It's a cloak that has smaller amount of time you can be cloaked, but you will charge your cloak meter when you're stayed still. So it's a great cloak for just standing still in the corner. Yeah, that's about it. It's also really good if you want to wait for the enemy team to push somewhere, if you want to take certain picks, which, as if you didn't know, it's really important for spy to be preferring certain class between others. Hint hint, medics, heavy, snipers. So I would just, you know, stay cloaked and find the right opportunity. It's really great cloak for the Euroturn reward, because you can't disguise. You can just wait in the corner until someone comes there, or it will make you really unpredictable. But well, I mean, that's the cloak, that's kind of the idea behind the cloak. And let's go to the DR. Now, the DR is the Dead Ringer, and the Dead Ringer is free out of jail card. Why do people call it that? Well, it's because it allows you to feint your death. Yes, you can literally press a button, you will have fake body on the ground, everything, you will just be set to free, you will be extinguished, Gerardi milk, all of that will wear off, every attribute, negative or positive that you had, it will just wear off, you'll be speedy, you'll be fire immune for like 4 seconds or something, you can just run away, and there will also be a damage reduction for the first hit, I believe. So I think it's 75%. So let's just say you feel like you're gonna get hit, just put that thing up and you should be good to go. So that was kind of the general talk about the loadout of the spy, and if you skipped, that means you're a decent spy who already knows all this stuff. So let's move on to what's actually important about the class. Starting with number 1, maps. If you're a true beginner, you shouldn't go to something like a payload. I would just suggest you to go to King of the Hill. Harvest is the best map to start off with. I don't wanna tell you it's the best map, but for me it is the best map because it's really simple, it's understandable, it's mirror-like, it's a simple objective there that you don't really need to pay attention to anyways. It's really good to just start learning things on that map. There's a lot of corners and staircases, and well, let's just say that it's a good map to start off with. And by that I mean, if you're truly starting out, don't rapidly switch between maps. It's just really important to find a map you like and stay there. Learn everything about that map, where the health packs are, where the ammo packs are, where the enemy team will be coming from, and what's the objective. Also, where's your spawn, or if you go to payload and you fall in love with some payload map, where the spawns and when they change. And just general stuff like that. You need to know that before you will proceed. And I'm gonna tell you right now, knowing the map really well, like the back of your foot, is going to be really incredibly helpful when playing Spy, because you can learn the flanks, you can just, it's a really great way for you to start, I would suggest. Number 2 things, a second thing, FOV, field of view. Yes, field of view is basically what your character sees and what any other character sees, and you can change the FOV in the console or in the options, the special advanced options, I believe. So it's set to 70 as default, and that's too little. You wanna have it on 90. I'm not telling you should do that, but it's just it's a preference, but it's the best. 90 is just overall awesome number, and nothing against it, right? So that's field of view. And the second part of field of view is the field of view of others. You need to learn that. I already mentioned that cloaks have sounds, and it's really important to know that decloaking behind someone is not gonna help you. It's really good to know what you can get away with. Decloak behind someone, but not exactly behind them. Decloak out of their field of view. Most people, if they don't see you, they don't worry about you. So if you stick just right out of their field of view, you should be fine just getting behind them. Also, it will be really good to give your enemies a little bit of a space. You never know what they're gonna do if they don't know about you there, and trust me, it happens way too often. They easily get behind you somehow without even trying to do that. So I would suggest you take it slow. You know, you just take your time and just go on. Now I've already talked about it, and it's the patience and the time when to strike. You can't just run in there and do the thing. You need to actually wait before they do that. You need to get the feeling for that, and you will, trust me, that will come eventually. But it's really good to just wait and see. Most of the times it actually pays off. So let's go to the most important part of any class, not including the Spy, is the prediction. You need to be able to predict what the people are going to do, where are they going, where they're going to shoot, and where are they going. That's the part of where you should be aiming as well. So it's a really good way to aim for people. If you see someone walking in a straight line, you can just line the shot ahead of them and just wait for them to go there, which they will if you can predict correctly. It's really strong if you can predict well, and I would really encourage you to play something like the Soldier to start off with the prediction, because you need to predict with the rockets a little bit. It's kind of similar, and you can get a good taste of how things work. And talking about prediction, it's really good to play as the other classes. One of the best ways to learn how to play the Spy class is ironically really ironical. Play as the other classes. Learn what they do against spies. For example, play as the pyro and just get into a situation when there's a spy and you try to kill him. What do? Well, first of all, you freak out and then you just WM1 the fuck out of him. Okay, cool. You did that. Now you know that the next time you see a pyro, he's gonna react the same way. And he's also going to charge straight in your face. And you can just kind of build your momentum knowing what your enemy is going to do before you even meet them, and it's really good to know what they're gonna do. Soldiers are gonna fire ahead of you, snipers they're gonna stand still for a minute to scope in. Small things that you'll just learn over time. It's really good to know what you're doing and know what you're doing against Wu. Also, talking about different players and classes, for the love of God, you know what is unusual? Yes, the hats, the floating thing above someone's hat. Don't target these people, alright? They're usually really good, and they have the tendency to fuck you up. So I would encourage you, stay the fuck out of their sight, and just trust me on this one. Alright, so now that I've talked about everything, it's time to talk about objective. Now, objective is, of course, there are different game modes. There's payload, there's capture the flag, there's king of the hill, and I've already joked around a little bit that no one really cares for the objective. Only if you're playing competitive, then you should. I don't know, on pubs, few people really get annoyed on other people that they don't pay attention to the objective, and it can really lead to some team problems. But I would, from the beginning, encourage you to not really care about it. But you should know what the objective is. For example, if you're on a payload map, you just push the cart to the finish. Things that spies can do, not that many realize, is that you can, for example, back cap. You can just decloak right around the payload, push it a little bit and then cloak again. And just wait for it to be safe and just continue. You can do a lot of objective work as a spy, you might not even know that. And it's really good to know what and when you can do and how you can do it. For example, waiting with the cloak and dagger for that heavy medic pair and then just take them down and allowing your team to capture the objective, which you don't necessarily have to do, but you should assist them with key picks, such as medics and heavies, as I already mentioned 3 times. Okay, let's move on to the goal. The goal obviously is to get behind your enemy, get their back, and backstab them. Backstab means it will be a one-hit kill from the back. Doesn't matter how much health they have. Whenever else you have the opportunity to sneak behind someone, it's time to give them the backstab, and you should just need to know that that's the goal. The goal is not to run straight on someone, smashing their face with a knife. It doesn't work like that. It's much better to just wait for the right opportunity and just get them from the back. I mean, it's how it works. I'm sorry to break it down for you. Okay, so the next step is the disguises. I'm gonna tell you something you might not know, or you might do know, but the disguises are only there to fool the sentries. I see too many spies walking around having a scout disguise, thinking that no one can possibly see through that. Or that one sniper that just stands still and just looking at your team. People can see through disguises really easily. It's not hard to find a spy in the middle of the crowd if you know how to look for them. Don't be obvious, alright? It's really good to just stay out of sight at all times. Using the cloak and dagger or the invisage, I would just encourage you to literally stay out of sight 24/7. Don't show yourself to anyone, because the disguise can work, but it doesn't work always. When it does work is when you play around with it. Yes, you can actually help your disguise to be more effective if you get a little acting, if you put a little acting there, yes. And how you can do that? Well, I don't know. First of all, the enemy team is now your team. Your team, your teammates are now your enemies. stay the fuck away from them. Stick with the enemy and don't look right at them. That's the first thing you need to know. I should have mentioned it probably sooner, but yes. Don't look at the enemy team like it's the enemy team. Just pretend they're not enemy, and they might just think you're with them. It works sometimes, seriously. Especially with Deadringer, you can just back off. If there's a teammate trying to spy check you, which I guess I should mention as well. Spy checking, it basically means that the player checks you, just basically damages you to see if you're a spy or not, because no one is sure. Everyone does that. It's a thing you need to worry about. But if you play with the disguises, they might not spy check you, and that's what your goal is with the disguises anyway. Or just don't show yourself to anyone, which is, well, what I do. So next time there's a teammate trying to spy check you, just run away from your teammate. For example, if there's a pyro, call for medic and run to the other team. Trust me, the enemy team will literally think that you're running away from a pyro who's just trying to kill you, when in actuality it's not like that at all. Well, that's really all there is about disguises. There's a lot more things I could mention probably, and I would like to mention them, but it just feels like it's not necessary right now. If you want me to do a part 2 on this, I will gladly make it. I would like it to. This is the first part, as you probably noticed, and the next part is going to be about trick stabs. If you want to know about it, there's like a billion guides on trick stabs, but I feel like I could still do my own and bring something new to the table. So just let me know if you want it, you know, the guy I'm talking to you, the guy who suggested me to do this anyway. So I'm just gonna let you know, hey, if you want trick stab. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope this helped you. If it did, please leave me a like. This video was really hard to make, okay? So I would like some feedback from this. I would like to know what you guys think about it, because I know a few spies who need some help, and I think this can help them, except that I don't want to waste literally a full day of my life, and then no one will give a damn. I don't want that, so please do leave me a feedback, do comment. I'd love to read your guys' comments, and leave a like, and yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching again, and I'll see you in the next video, next episode. Bye bye.